What's up, everybody, and welcome to Growing Up Gaming, your weekly podcast where we meet a new person of the internet to discuss their childhood with gaming and how it inspired their lives today. My name is Mitch Power. Again, thank you guys so much for returning each and every week to this show. Hopefully you've subscribed on iTunes or Google Play, or you've checked it out on YouTube, which is now a thing because some people asked for it, so not a big deal. I put it up as a video. I hope you like the logo image that Brandon did because that's what you guys get to see the entire length of the podcast. This week on the show, we have our guest. His name is Xyger. If you don't know who Xyger is, just go on Twitter and look up Xyger. You'll find him. He's a huge member of the Kind of Funny community. You can go on YouTube and see a video of Greg Miller and him having a very epic Mario Kart battle. So feel free to check that out. If you guys want to be on the show just like he was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. Without further ado, let's get things started with Xyger. Do you remember what got you started playing games? Do you remember if it was like a family member, a buddy, a kiosk at a store? Do you remember what initially got you started in gaming?
There's this little small indie thing. It came out of Japan. Very few people have heard of it. It's called Pokemon. As a little kid, Pokemon was the greatest thing in the world. My first, I started with video games on the Super NES, but I only watched. I never really played. What really got me into gaming was when my mom took me to a Toys R Us, RIP Toys R Us. She bought me a Game Boy Color and a copy of Pokemon Crystal version. Crystal was my first Pokemon game, and I've been watching the show forever at that point, forever being 5 years old. But when I started playing the game, I was like, oh my god, these are all the new Pokemon. Ash hasn't caught this one yet. I'm going to catch this one. Played through the entire game, and then, I don't know if you played Gold, Silver, Crystal. After you beat the game, you unlock the first game.
Right.
It's an entire second game. It's holy shit.
It's just oh my god, that's so amazing. Yeah, I remember. It's funny because I remember playing. I'm super happy that somebody's very first experience. I mean, like you said, Super Nintendo and stuff, but a lot of people will say their first experience is more home console stuff, where yours was Pokemon and Game Boy, which is awesome because, it's just a different take on, I remember that was the thing that initially got me to get my Game Boy because my buddies had a Game Boy, they had Tetris and they had Link's Awakening, but when Pokemon came out, shit got real.
Yep.
Everyone and their mother had a fucking Game Boy and Pokemon. Everyone.
What color Game Boy did you have?
So I remember getting the Game Boy because my grandma worked at Sam's Club. And she had, they had the Game Boy Color that had it was the Pokemon, it was a Pokemon one. And then it came,
nice.
So I'm trying to remember, what was it? It was either all green one. I think it was actually all green one. All green. It had Pokemon Blue that I got with it. And then it had 900 accessories, the fucking...
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Fucking Optimus Prime Ultimate, Game Boy Color that had just everything for whatever reason.
Had a magnifying glass and nightlight.
Yeah, link cable, carrying case, game case... solar panel, fucking whatever came with those things, dude. It was ridiculous. How much shit came with those things. You had to have it though. You had to. Yeah, you had to have those things though. That was pretty much your only option. Also too, if your battery, you had to also have stacks of batteries if you didn't have the rechargeable battery pack. Even though the Game Boy's battery life wasn't terrible, you just played it so fucking much that you had no option.
And then every now and then you take batteries out of the remote controls and your mom yells at you why are all the remotes dead?
Yeah, I was going to say just piss everyone in the house off because nobody can watch TV because little Xyger had to go play fucking Pokemon Crystal. Just piss everybody off.
It was a real problem.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. So was it the actual show then that got you interested in just realizing there are games out there that I could play that were doing this?
Basically, yeah, because I watched the show growing up. My mom bought me VHS tapes of the first season, so I watched a bunch of that. Then I actually watched it on TV and caught up with the series. And then when I found out there was a game for the series, oh, I gotta play this. And it was the first time I got really into a video game. Pokemon, as you know, is an RPG, so it's baby's first RPG, so it was simple to learn. And once I got into the game, I got like real into it to a point where I was learning all of the Pokemon's names. I can name right now. I can name all the way up to 493.
Holy
I'm not going
shit.
to, but I can.
Yeah, well,
there's only like
podcast
800
for
something.
that.
Yeah, but yeah, I learned all the Pokemon, what make what evolve. I was the first one in my family to figure out that certain Pokemon can only evolve by trading, so we had to go buy link cables. I had to teach my brothers how to trade Pokemon, which ones evolved specifically by trading, what Pokemon needed an item, like Onix with Metal Coat in order to evolve the Steelix.
Right.
But yeah, I got real deep into Pokemon, and then my mom bought us an N64. She got us the Hey You Pikachu one.
Oh my god.
So I got even more into that, as well as Pokemon Stadiums 1 and 2. And those ones, you can connect your Game Boy games to the actual game.
Yep.
And it's like, holy shit, it's like a whole nother world. And then like we recreated matches from the TV show onto Pokemon Stadium. We went through the entire the Pokemon League in Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. And after you do it, you get another starter Pokemon. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember. The only thing is, dude, is if you did not have that transfer pack for Pokemon Stadium, that game fucking sucked. Like, you didn't really want to play it. Like, you wanted to play it with your stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, you didn't want to fucking play it with whatever. Like, you wanted to import your people into the game, and that's what made it awesome. But, dude, that Hey You Pikachu console, though, that thing,
it's so cool.
It's so yellow. Like, it stuck out like a sore thumb. It was so...
You're not wrong.
It was
You're
loud as hell. Like, if that was
but the reset button was Pikachu's foot. It came with a little mic so I could talk to Pikachu. He never talks back, but you know.
Dude, I was gonna say, man, like, they were trying all sorts of shit back then. I mean, you know, C-Man tried it on the Dreamcast, and then they were like, yo, we can throw this shit on at 64 and just throw Pikachu on it. Everybody loves that little thing. So, yeah, no, it's funny because I was super into... Did you ever go back and play Red and Blue and all those too? Like, did you ever get to that point where you're
absolutely.
like, oh, I need all of these?
Yeah, I like I said, I started with Crystal, then I went back and got Red, and then I got Yellow because Yellow was the one where you got Pikachu instead of any of the other ones, and it was more closely related to the anime. So I played Red and Yellow, then I eventually went back and got Silver version, then I got Blue, and then I got Gold.
Jesus. Like,
I have sank at least 300 hours into every version of Pokemon. Every version.
Not just all.
Up until X
each.
and Y.
Right. Yeah, that was the funny thing, too, is that as I was growing up playing Pokemon stuff, I remember being definitely... I mean, there was a point in time where I was playing the games, and again, like you said, though, it's like, quote-unquote, baby's first RPG or whatever. I didn't give a shit because... It is like super basic, but also it could be super complex and deep if you wanted it to. Like, you could get into the nitty gritty of like these moves with these characters against this. So there was still strategy involved and shit like that. But I definitely remember being like one of the oldest people in a store buying a copy of Pokemon where everybody else was like fucking 9. And I'm like a grown ass man with rent and children. And I'm like buying Pokemon, not giving a shit. I'm like, I don't give a shit. This game is awesome. I think I want to say where I stopped was, I think X and Y is where I got that far. And I didn't play any of the ones after that. Like, I didn't play Sun or Moon. My son became obsessed with it. Like, that was the other thing too. I never got to a point where if I got one of them, like Red or Blue or Gold or Silver, I never went and got the other one just because I knew so many people that played it that we would just trade that way and everything. But like, my son is definitely just like you, where he's like, I need to get X, or he's like, I need to get Sun and Moon. I'm like, are you going to put hours into both? He's like, yes.
Yep.
I'm like, okay then. If that's what you say, go ahead.
I was also the kid who bought 2 of every handheld so I can trade with myself at all times. I had 2 Game Boy Colors, I had 2 Game Boy Advances and SPs, 2 DSs, 2 3DSs. I'm going to buy a second Switch.
Well, yeah, but then, right, we got to wait for Nintendo to get their shit together first. I was all down to buy a second Switch just to save sanity in my home until I read things like, oh, save states can't be carried over, just, you know, like every other console on Earth can. So I'm like,
yeah,
got it. All right, I'll wait till you guys figure that shit out and I'll get a second one. But yeah, I mean, obviously, so hold on. You had 2 of every console. What did Mom think of that?
My mom thought it was a waste of money because my brothers also had handhelds, so I can just borrow those. I'm like, yeah, they have handhelds, but I can't ask them to trade with me at 3 in the morning. She's like, what are you doing up at 3 in the morning? I'm like, don't worry about it.
Mind your business, Mom. Damn. Yeah, exactly, right? That was the other thing. You couldn't just sneak into their room and be like, snatch, come back, trade, snatch, bring it back. You couldn't do that? Yeah,
I could do that, but it was just easier to buy my own.
That's very true. Very true. So obviously you had siblings, so did you play games with them often? Did you actually play Pokemon with them, battling against them and everything?
Oh yeah, I've definitely traded with my little brothers and my older brother and battled them in Pokemon, as well as other games like Mario Kart, Mario Party, Smash Bros. We were like a Nintendo family growing up, so all like the standard Nintendo games that you would think of, we probably played together. But yeah, when it came to Pokemon, I did trade with them and I did battle with them, but I also wanted just the second one so I can do it by myself, so I didn't have to rely on anyone else.
No, that makes sense. I mean, like you said, you can't rely on them all the time. I got shit to do in the middle of the night. I can't have you guys cramping my style. I need my own setup. That makes sense. Nothing wrong with that.
It's also because I trade like 100 Pokemon at once. So it's like, hey, are you free for 3 hours? No? Let me borrow your 3DS real quick.
Yeah, exactly. And then, did you... Okay, so it sounds like you were definitely one of those kids that tried to get... Did you try to have every single Pokemon on one game?
I have tried it up until like the 4th gen. On Gen 4, which is Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, I did get all 493 Pokemon, but every game after that, I've only gotten close. But I want to do it again on the Switch version whenever that comes out. Get all the Pokemon, whether it be a Diamond Pearl remake or Gen 8, whatever they want to do for this next year or next year.
Right.
I want to try getting them all. I also want to try getting a Living Dex, which is having one copy of every single Pokemon. So instead of having Venusaur count for all 3, you have Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur in the box.
Right, exactly. Instead of just having Bulbasaur from the beginning, evolving, you actually having every one of them individually available. Which sounds insane, but it's possible, but it sounds insane. Again, if you really love Pokemon, you can do it. No big deal. I'm sure that won't take a while, but again, the Switch is like your perfect reasoning to have. Dude, they're making a Pokemon game for Switch. That's fucking amazing. I'm sure your head
excited.
I'm sure your head slightly exploded when that happened. When that got announced, I'm sure that was your Tim Geddes Crash Bandicoot moment. That was probably your shut the fuck, probably freaked out a bit.
Yeah, when Nintendo said, hey, we're doing it, we're not going to have any info on it, but it's happening. I'm like, fuck yes, it's happening.
That's all you needed to hear is that it will happen one day. You just need a confirmation the shit exists and could potentially come out sometime in the near future, and you are good. So that's all you needed to hear. Obviously, you're playing games with seven. Did it bleed over into other things though too? Did you do the trading card game? Obviously, you were watching the show already. Did you ever do stuff with the trading card game?
Okay, so as a kid, as you do, you collect the cards because you think the pictures are cool, but you never actually learned how to play the game. So that's how I was as a kid, collecting all the cards, not knowing how to play the game until I was older, probably 12. I played the Game Boy Color Pokemon trading card game.
Yep.
And that's what taught me how to play the trading card game. As hey, this game is actually a lot of fun.
It definitely is. Yeah, funny story is that when I was a kid, I got into the Pokemon game, obviously, but it led into playing the trading card game. And there was a comic book store, which is still there, but they changed the name. The name of the store was called Tomorrow is Yesterday, which is a fucking weird name or whatever, but they used to run Pokemon tournaments for the card game, and they actually used to run a Pokemon League there where you could battle, and if you got so many wins, you got the actual badges. They look just like the badges from Red and Blue. And for years, dude, the card game took over my fucking life. That's all I wanted to do, to the point where they actually asked me, because I was one of the older kids there that was more mature, they actually asked me to help run the Pokemon League because
dude, that's so cool.
It was so cool. Here's what I also realized. It was so illegal because they were basically paying me in store credit. They're just like, hey, we can pay you in store credit, which is basically child labor. But I was okay with it. I didn't give a shit. I was just like...
I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Yeah, no. It was 100% illegal. I think back, I'm like, wow, you were basically paying me under the table in store credit to help out. That's illegal, but that's okay. It's okay. Those owners aren't there anymore. I'm sure they're not in jail or something. But no, it was super cool. And that took over so much of my life to the point where I was more into... I wouldn't say I was more into the trading card games, but I was able to do the trading card game stuff more often. Like, I was more enthralled with that and the strategy behind that. Because once I got a Pokemon game and I played and beat it, I was just like, okay, that's cool. But I didn't have that need to, like, fill the Pokédex all the way or jump into, like, instead of gold, go into silver and do that again. I was just like, every time the Pokemon games came out, of course I would play them. And I was like, that's awesome. But then I would, like, the card games were just... It's super, the strategy behind them was like way more intense. And, it was more of a community thing. Cause back then, obviously the internet wasn't around. So you couldn't just battle whoever you wanted. But when you're playing the card game across the table from somebody, I don't know. It was just really cool. And of course, some people that turned into Magic the Gathering, and then some people just stopped. I mean, once I played Pokemon, I was like, this is fun, but I never got really super into any of the other card games. But yeah, the trading card game, I remember that. I have a problem
with trading card games where I get addicted real quick. I have spent probably tens of thousands of dollars on Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards back in the day.
Right.
But yeah, as a kid, I learned real quick that I'm really good at trading card games, and it became a real problem. I played Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Do you remember Duel Masters?
Yes.
I played that. There was like this other Japanese one. I think it was like Aquaria or something. I don't even know. I played that. Right now I'm playing Vanguard. No one I know plays Vanguard, but it's a game that you can play. And like I've tried to stop myself from like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, which I know are super huge.
Right.
And it's like I know if I get into both of those games, I'll fall down the rabbit hole again and spend hundreds of dollars I don't have on cards that I don't need.
Right. Yeah, stay the fuck away from Magic. Like my buddy Jeff and my other buddy Dito, they love Magic to death. And it's funny because I remember my friend Jeff saying he was into it, but I don't know what sparked his interest, but out of nowhere, he just blew up on it. And now that's like his number one thing he does. Like he will go to tournaments on weekends and spend hours there. Like so long there. Even if he loses, he still hangs out to watch other people play. And I'm like, see, that's another level of like love for a game. Whereas like in a Pokemon tournament, if I played in a Pokemon tournament and I lost, I was like, yo, fuck this. I'm going home. Like, I'm done. I don't need to see this shit anymore. I'm good. No, dude, I remember playing the Pokemon game obviously was huge. I didn't really play Yu-Gi-Oh! It was around when I was playing, but not as much. There was a Dragon Ball Z card game that I played.
Oh my god, yes.
Yep. Which is funny is because like up in my bedroom, I have card boxes that still have like a Dragon Ball Z deck. I still have a Magic box that has a deck in there. I don't have the cards anymore. There used to be a WWF wrestling card game. And I remember buying a starter pack for it one time and just playing it. Like I bought a starter pack that had 2 decks with it, and I was like, because again, I was getting all this store credit from the store, and I was like, hey, let's just try this, and because I was into wrestling and shit, and I was like, hey, let's try this, and I remember playing it, and I'm like, this shit is terrible. Like, it's just not good. They were just trying to cash in, because everybody was liking Pokemon cards and wrestling, so you put the Hardy Boys on a card, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get this. This sounds fun. And I remember playing it twice or something. I was like, nah, this doesn't work. This isn't good. But
yeah,
I tried Dragon Ball Z. Magic I got into, and I was like, this is cool, but I'm not super deep into it. But dude, if you're saying you get crazy with card games, I think if you put one foot into Magic, it's gonna fucking drag you down to the depths. And
that's what my cousin told me, and that's why I stayed as far away from Magic as possible.
Stay the fuck away from that shit. It's again fun game, but dude, that's like next level history. It's been around for fucking ever, and you're gonna start going into like depths of cards and dude, my buddy Jeff can talk about Magic for 6 hours straight and talk about strategies and cards. I'm like, that's cool, man. I can't do that shit anymore. Like, it's cool. Like, I'll play the Magic game that they have on Xbox or whatever, you know, like the digital version. And I'm like, that's cool. Hearthstone, I have heard is fun. Again, but I mean, that's all digital. They don't have a physical version of that, though, do they?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm sure that Blizzard's 5 seconds away from hitting the print button and making millions there. But, yeah, I mean, it's all digital. If it's digital, it's not as bad because you're not pumping money into cards. However, you can definitely still pump money into Hearthstone if you want to. God bless microtransactions, right? Like Blizzard.
Yeah, the loot boxes, man.
Loot boxes, card packs. Dude, the thing is, though, I'm sorry. It's nowhere near as satisfying hitting a card open pack on a game than it is in your hands. Like, opening a new pack of cards in your hands, there's like a smell to it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's pretty awesome.
Just holding all the new cards in your hand, looking for the one shiny one in the pack, such a good feeling.
Dude, and you were always jealous of the kid that got like a box of cards for Christmas or something. You were like, fuck, how many, oh my God, you got a whole box? That's amazing. That tends to happen.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, so obviously Pokemon took over pretty much everything. Did that ever influence any other games that you played and everything? Did that ever lead you to playing any other quote-unquote baby RPGs or any other? I mean, obviously you said you were kind of a Nintendo kid, so I mean...
Yeah, I was mostly a Nintendo kid. Since I started with Game Boy Color and later Game Boy Advance, I wasn't so huge into like the main consoles like the N64 and GameCube at the time. But one of the games I picked up was Fire Emblem, which is one of my favorite tactical RPGs of all time. It's so good. Holy fuck. My first one was the GameCube game Path of Radiance. Right. And then because of that, I got into the two GBA ones, which is Fire Emblem and Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones.
Right.
And like, it's one of those games where you can play it however you want. People can die. Once a character dies, they're gone for good. When I first played Fire Emblem, I didn't know this was a thing. This was an established IP. I just knew like, oh, this character died. I guess that's part of the story. Oh, well. And then my brother played it, and I got to the point where the character dies. I'm like, oh, he's about to die right now. It's okay, though. You don't have to worry about it. And then he beat the level, and the guy didn't die. I'm like, wait a sec. He doesn't have to die? What? And I had to restart the game, because I was only like 10 chapters into it.
Right.
I restarted the game, got to that point again, did it. I was like, oh, he doesn't have to die. And then I played through the game until like I'm chapter almost 20, and then I realized my brother had a character that I didn't have, and he got this character by talking to him. He was one of the villains in the previous chapter, and that's when I realized, oh, sometimes you can talk to the villains and they join your side. So I reset the game again. Got to that point, made sure I got all the characters, and like Fire Emblem's this strategy game where I plan everything the fuck out. Who gets partnered with who I send out to battle, who I'm leveling up, how do I get X character to a point where I make sure I have every character by the end of the game. And it's just a lot of fun. I did it with the GameCube game, the two Game Boy games, later the Wii game, and every game afterward. But yeah, it's my favorite tactical RPG. It's my second favorite video game franchise of all time. But like, other than Fire Emblem, I would say like the basics, Mario, Legend of Zelda, stuff like that. Kirby's a huge one too.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that how many, especially on like Game Boy Advance and stuff, and then later into 3DS, like how many different ridiculously good games were on those systems. Like, and I'm not saying handheld gaming doesn't have as many good games now, but just like, if you think, because obviously there was the Pokemon games, but then there was Advance Wars, there was Fire Emblem, there was all of the, before they went super 3D and shitty, all the Castlevania games that were on the Game Boy Advance and 3DS and stuff. Like, those were still like, sprite based, Symphony of the Night style. Like, those fucking games were awesome. And there's just so many good games coming out of that era before. And I'm not saying like I said, certain games, especially when the 3DS came out, because I remember when the 3DS came out, I worked at a game store when the 3DS came out, and it was weird because those first launch games, nobody knew what the fuck that thing was doing. Like, they were like, why do we have two screens? Like, what do you do with the bottom? What do we do? And I remember like that first year of games, just nobody knew how to fucking do anything with it. You know, people were just like, I guess we can use this for a map, maybe? You know, like nobody was able to figure it out. And then once they got the hang of it, all these ridiculous games started coming out. And I'm just like, I remember the Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow because everything had to have DS in it. Everything.
Yep.
Everything had to fucking have DS in it. Just like Nintendo had 64, just like, 3D. Dude, what was it? For Kingdom Hearts, Dream Drop Distance.
Yep, 3D.
Seriously? Come on now. But, yeah, like, and I mean, I think Advance Wars was Dual Strike or something. Like, everybody had DS in their title, but when Castlevania came out for DS, and like the spells were you drawing on the screen like crazy shit, and it was the map on the bottom while you're playing on top, I'm like, this is fucking amazing. Like, I was so happy when people started finally figuring out how to develop for that console, and to think that there's so many good RP, and all the Final Fantasies started coming out for it too, and just, dude, like, if you look at a Game Boy Advance catalog, it's fucking crazy. And the fact that the DS, at least the original DS, played all the GBA games. Oh yeah, and you had DS games. Like,
yep,
that's fucking insane.
And then there were certain games that used both the DS and the Game Boy game at the same time. Usually it was just Pokemon and the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series, but there was a few other games where if you had the Game Boy Advance version of a previous game, you could send characters over into the DS version of the game. I think Fire Emblem did something like that at some point.
Yeah, there was also... Yeah, there was the cross between the two and everything. I also remember there was weird games that used the DS slot for the game and then used the GBA for like add-ons and accessories and shit, which was really weird.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah, Guitar Hero. Dude, oh god, Guitar Hero. Dude, that was like the one console they were like, maybe let's see how this works. And it came out and everybody's like, I don't know about that.
Yo, I loved Guitar Hero DS. It was real great.
Dude, I was just so used to Guitar Hero, like the guitar, and I remember trying it. I definitely didn't buy it, but I remember trying it, and I just wasn't as much of a fan, but I was super into Guitar Hero. Like, I was really into Guitar Hero. And again, it was like, I felt bad. I don't want to say that elitist in me, but I was like, this isn't fucking Guitar Hero. Where's the guitar? I need a real guitar. I need 5 buttons. What's this 4-button shit? This is too easy. Like, that was
I liked it because it didn't have the 5th button. I could never hit that 5th button.
Yeah, everybody says that their pinky didn't work. That was like everybody's complaint, like, my pinky just doesn't work. I can't do this. Like, my pinky's stupid. I can't do it. I'm like, it just takes a second to get used to it. But I was one of those people that when Guitar Hero showed up, for whatever reason, rhythm gaming I was like, I love DDR. And then when Guitar Hero happened, I was just like, oh, let's just get good at this. And then all of a sudden I got good at it really quickly. So that was just, and then when I saw the DS one came out, I'm like, again, I guess that's okay. You're strumming on the touchscreen and you have 4 buttons instead of 5. So I don't know what it was, but I think it was the fact of like trying to do that while looking at a screen. I was used to sitting with a guitar on my couch, watching a big TV. I don't know where the disconnect was, but like I said, I mean, that was where Nintendo was trying to do just next level shit. I'm trying to remember. There was a game. I'm blanking out on what it was. I could have swore there was a game that had the Game Boy Advance slot as a rumble pack. I'm trying to remember. I'm sure somebody will remember it, but I'm almost positive there was a game that you could buy like a rumble pack that would go in the Game Boy Advance slot.
Was there a WarioWare game?
I think it was. It was something like that. But there was actually like a rumble pack that they sold as a GBA like game looking. It was just
yeah, I remember that.
Pack. And you popped it in and certain games would work with it, which again, that was just weird too, having Rumble on a handheld because again, we just weren't used to it. And I guess now we are with the Switch, but even until then, DS didn't have Rumble, like Vita didn't have, well, no, Vita doesn't have Rumble. No. Like, I don't know. It's just weird that they were trying to do everything they could. But dude, when the 3DS and like how innovative it was with the microphone and the 2 screens and how they eventually used it, I just was super impressed. Like looking back now, I'm way impressed at what Nintendo was able to do with that console.
I mean, to be fair, Nintendo also didn't do Pokemon Snap 3DS, so that's a fail on their part. They had the camera and everything.
They did.
It was all set to go.
They did. They could have also done some AR shit with that. You know what I mean? It's like, because they already had the AR cards, you know?
Yeah.
So imagine if they just had AR cards working with Pokemon Snap. I mean, they definitely could have done it.
They could have had Pokemon Go before Pokemon Go.
They definitely could have. Yeah. And that's, you know, man, it's funny. I think where to me, the 3DS is where things, I'm not going to say went bad, but I just felt like at that time, like the caliber of games, and there's still really good 3DS games, but I just feel if you look back at like DS games or Game Boy Advance games, just those generations had far more impressive games, just as far as like genres of games, varieties of games, what they were able to do with the systems at the time. Because once the 3D shit started happening, I was skeptical about the 3D at first. I thought it was cool that it was glasses free, so you didn't have to worry about wearing glasses and shit. But to be honest, I have a 3DS. I've never used the 3D one time, like at all. I just don't. I just turn it off. I'm just like, I don't need the 3D. It's just weird for me.
I've never used it. The only 2 games I can remember using it for was Mario 3D Land, where it was actually good and implemented well,
right.
And then Kid Icarus Uprising. But even then, for both of those games, I turned it off at some point.
Yeah, because it's just like you can't play with it on all the time. Because also, too, if you don't have it straight, and you're like, dude, if you're in a car or a plane trying to do that, you're going to get the biggest fucking headache of your life. Like, it is not going to be a fun time trying to do that. Because if you jar it a little bit, the 3D goes off, your eyeballs have to readjust, and you end up with an aneurysm or something. You know, nobody fucking wants to do that. But no, like they started, there's obviously some, like I said, some really good 3DS games, but I think also I just look back and I'm like, dude, I really miss 2D Castlevania games. But then again, nobody was making 2D Castlevania games, so it didn't really matter. But then Nintendo started getting super egregious with how many versions of the damn console were going to be coming out. So, because now there's the 3DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS, new 3DS XL, 2DS, 2DS XL. Like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ, guys! Like the fact that I just liked when Nintendo back in the day, like with the Game Boy Advance SP, just the limited editions that would come out, just the different colors. I was like, you guys made a great console. You don't have to fucking keep making new ones. Just make cool colors.
There was the SP, and then there was the new SP where it had the light that didn't turn off. Because like the original SPs, it had either the backlit or no light at all. And then after version 2, it had the 4 versions of the light. Like you can dim it.
Right.
You couldn't turn it completely off like the original ones.
I also remember Game Boy Micro, which nobody
I
fucking
have one
bought.
of those.
Nobody fucking bought them, but I remember them. Like, no one wanted it. And I'm like, maybe it's because it's for 2-year-olds' hands. Like, it is fucking tiny.
It is really small.
It's really fucking small. And I'm like, man, did you end up getting like a special edition one or just a regular Micro?
Just a regular Micro. I didn't get a special edition one. I didn't know that they made special edition ones.
They made a Game & Watch one. It was like the gold like reddish tone and everything. They did make a Game & Watch one.
Oh, that's nice.
Right. I remember working at the game store when they came out, and the buzz about it was fucking non-existent. Like, no one cared. like no one
I
gave
bought
a
it like
shit.
after the fact. Cause I bought it like secondhand from like customer or something.
Right.
So I didn't know this was a thing until like maybe 5-6 years ago.
Right. Yeah, because again, like Nintendo didn't really market it a whole lot. Like they just said, "Hey, it's portable. It's on the go. It's smaller." And I'm like, "Well, the SP's not that fucking big, people. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I guess you'll make this thing, and some people will buy it. But also, too, when you're a grown ass man trying to play it, you're like, no, this does not work. Like, my whole, I could palm the entire Game Boy Micro. Like that won't work for me. Again, it worked well for those people who had, like little kids and stuff. Worked well for them, but otherwise that's fine. Again, and also too, like you said, you didn't even know it existed until like all of a sudden you found out about it. So
yep, and then when I found out, I was like, I have to get this.
Yep, exactly. They didn't have a special Pokemon one or anything though, so don't worry. I mean, there's no.
Yeah, I looked into it. Don't worry.
I was gonna say, I'm sure you looked into it. Did you ever, when you went to get your second consoles, did you ever look for the special edition consoles, or did you ever try to get those ones specifically?
I would always, like, the first one I would get would be, like, a launch one. So, like, my first 3DS is, like, the normal red one.
Right.
And then, like, my second one, I would always get some special edition.
Right.
So, like, I got the Majora's Mask one.
Nice.
And then I wanted to get the Fire Emblem one, but it sold out, and it's like $300 on eBay. And it's like, I love Fire Emblem, and I love that blue color, but I also like having money, so
Yeah,
choices.
no, I got you. Real quick, while we're on that subject, Nintendo, quit fucking up. Please make more than 10 of something, so that way people can enjoy your product, because I can't remember who said it, but somebody said that when Amiibos were big, oh, that's an eBay exclusive, as a joke, because motherfuckers would just buy them and put them on eBay. And it quickly became that, because my brother-in-law, Nick, he loves Fire Emblem to death. And it breaks his fucking heart every time Nintendo puts something out and he can't hop online to pre-order it right away. And in 25 seconds, every version of it's gone and Nintendo will never make more. It like bums my brother-in-law out so much. And every time this shit happens, he's like, fucking Nintendo. He's like, if Nintendo just made more, I'd pay Nintendo. I want to give Nintendo money, but they don't want my fucking money. Like, he gets so mad. And
I can relate so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
When they did Amiibos, I was like, hey guys, just make more. Like, real quick, you're literally leaving money on the table by letting all these assholes buy 40 of them and then resell them to everybody else online. Like, you could just make more and you could be getting the money. Instead, you make so many and go, we're done. Like, I applaud certain companies because, like, you don't really run into that shit with Sony or Microsoft, really. Like, for the most part. Unless it's, like, very, very limited run. And they make it pretty specific. But, like,
yeah,
if you want fucking, like, God of War Pro console right now, the PS4 Pro God of War console, you don't have to fucking lose your mind and be there day one. They'll make enough, and you could probably go into a store day one and just go like, oh, there's one. I'll pick one up. Whereas Nintendo's like, we're making 12, and they're going to be worldwide at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Good luck. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, what? Why? Why can't you just make more? I just don't get it. If you see there's the demand for it, and it doesn't come out for 6 more months, you
make more.
You can't plan for more? Like, that's not a possibility? You can't see your website explode overnight and just plan for that shit? But whatever, it's what Nintendo does. Speaking of launch day consoles, by the way, that DS, that very first DS was such a fucking turd.
Oh, like the brick one?
Dude, I had 2 of them. I had 2 of them because I got the silver one the day it came out. And then my wife ended up getting the Mario Kart one. There was like a red Mario Kart one that had like the symbol on the top. And dude, those things were fucking trash.
Dude, the fucking brick DS was awful.
It was so bad. And then I remember like, that was always something that pissed me off about buying like a launch Nintendo handheld was like, it was a turd at first. And then like 2 years later, it was fucking gold. And again, it's like, do I wait the 2 years and wait for them to make the better one? Or do I fucking bite the bullet and deal with this shit? And dude, the DS Lite, compared to like the regular DS, was leaps and bounds better in every fucking way. Like
100%. Oh my god.
Full-size stylus, much brighter screen, bigger screen, smaller, lighter, and you're just like, fucking Nintendo duped me, man. This sucks. Same thing with the 3DS. Like, OG 3DS, it's okay, but when you
I liked it.
It's not bad, but then when you look at the new 3DS, like the XLs and shit, you're like,
yeah, it's so much better.
It's so much better. Shit.
I wonder if they're going to make an improved version of the Switch.
You fucking know they are. Like, please, don't kid yourself. Of course they are. They're going to make a new version of the Switch that has a brighter screen, a better battery life. It'll be thinner, but no, actually they couldn't do that because the Joy-Cons wouldn't work. It'll just be bezel free or something. You know what I mean? Or it'll come with like internal storage. They'll figure out some way to make that shit happen. I have no doubt about it. I just think the one thing that I think Nintendo did smart was, which is smart and not smart at the same time, the Game Boy Advance, the 3DS, DS, when they had a special edition of console, you wanted to get rid of your old one so bad and get the new one. You know what I mean? Like, you wanted to do that. I think the smart thing Nintendo did this time was they made the Switch console just black and basic, but now they can sell you 1,000 Joy-Con variations if they want to.
Dude, I have a custom green one coming in the mail next week.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited. But yeah, the Joy-Con customization is insane. There's so many options.
Right. And I mean, I'm sure Nintendo could easily do, of course, they can come out with their own licensed ones like they do with the Splatoon stuff. And I mean, like, that's cool. But I'm talking if they did like SNES, which I've seen people do mods for and stuff, you know, like one of my buddies did that. But I mean, if Nintendo officially came out with it, if they came out with a GameCube variety, if they came out with just color schemes for whatever new, you know, Smash Brothers, like, you know, if they came out with stuff like that, instead of selling new consoles, which people get pissed that they have to do, if they could sell you a pair of $80 Joy-Cons, people don't give a fuck. They'll buy Joy-Cons and they don't care. Hence,
dude,
like,
imagine if Nintendo did the Xbox Design Labs for the Switch controllers.
Fuck out of here, man. Nintendo might as well just take their, just get a Brinks truck and fucking just load it up with money. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and I can tell you as a person who has bought more Xbox controllers than anyone should. I have all the Gears controllers, the Halo 5 set, the Titanfall controller, the Elite controller, the Sea of Thieves controller. Yeah, if Nintendo just really wants to print more money, just do custom Joy-Cons and you could easily sell them. And people will buy those all day long instead of getting a new console because they can justify $80. They can't justify another $300. You know what I mean? Like, it's way better just to do that.
I know I would buy it.
There you go. I mean, hey, Nintendo, here's a quick way to make money. Do custom Joy-Cons and quit fucking up on your limited editions. Sound good? All right. We'll just send this to Nintendo. You know Reggie, right? You're famous.
More or less.
Yeah.
I've been in a room where he just happened to be in it.
There you go. I mean, just pass him this podcast and be like, hey, give this a quick listen, Reggie. It might help your business out a bit. You know, because last time I checked, they're hurting. You know,
Yep, still super small indie studio. No one's ever heard of them.
No, not at all. I mean, they're just looking for one of us to give them the right advice to take them big, right? We can help them out. It's okay. I'll just send this tweet to Reggie. You guys' phone number, text him. We'll be fine. You can just do that. So as far as it goes now, obviously, I was gonna say, did you still stick with Nintendo when it was going GameCube and Wii or all that stuff, or did you eventually go PlayStation as well, or did you ever dabble in Xbox? Like, how did you end up progressing as you got older?
Okay, so after, like, I got real into GameCube, like, late in the GameCube's life cycle, and then we bought a Wii, and, like, I've only used the Wii for Smash Bros. And I think, like, the Mario games, but we eventually got an Xbox and a PS2. I never used the PS2. It was just a DVD player to me, but I played the Xbox. I played the first Xbox game I played was Lego Star Wars.
Nice.
And that's how I first experienced Star Wars.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no. Like, the entire, like, I never knew that Star Wars came out 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. So I played Lego Star Wars 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6 came out, and I remember Burger King had the cups for all the 6 movies. I'm like, wait a minute. These movies are older, but they're 4, 5, 6. That's not how movies are released. It always goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Except for
and
George Lucas's eyes.
Blown away from this.
Yeah, George Lucas doesn't give a fuck about that. He's like, yo, 4, 5, and 6 are happening. You guys want 1, 2, and 3? We'll talk to you in 30 years. Let's see how you guys like it. Or 20 years. Let's see how you guys like it. That's insane that your first experience with Star Wars was Lego Star Wars. Holy shit.
Yo, but I fucking love Lego Star Wars. Like, it was amazing. Holy shit.
No, I mean, it's amazing. Like, dude, I love Star Wars to death, right? It's just crazy that Star Wars didn't enter your life somewhere before Lego Star Wars. Now, I'm not shitting on Lego Star Wars because Lego Star Wars, that was the one thing, that was the first Lego.
That was the first real Lego game.
Yeah. Like, because there was other Lego games before it, but that was the one that I remember, again, working at the game store and Lego Star Wars coming out. And I remember just going like, Lego Star Wars is a video game. I don't know about that. We'll see how it is. And I remember coming out and it getting good reviews. And then, like, people in the store who played it, they're like, no, that game's fucking awesome. Like, you should really be playing it. You should play this game. And I remember playing it and it's like, it's fucking stupid because you look at it and you go, this is for kids, but it's not. Like, it's still fun. And especially if you know the story behind it, because obviously they didn't have voice acting in the early ones, but they still did a pretty good job of, like, explaining the story by, like, moans and groans and motions of characters.
Yep, that's how I learned the story of all 6 movies, through Lego Star Wars.
So, yeah, I mean, it's cool that they do that. Obviously, the newer ones have gotten a bit more sophisticated with, voice acting and such. But no, I mean, like my wife and I recently were playing some of the Lego games, and it's funny when you know the story, but then you have to see how they interpret it without voice. That's where I find it really funny, because she loves Pirates of the Caribbean. I was like, cool, Lego Pirates, let's go. And the way they interpreted it, she was just laughing. She's like, how do you explain this without talking? I'm like, I don't know. Let's fucking find out, shall we? Like, how are you going to explain this? And, yeah, the Star Wars games, I mean, again, I'm sure, I'm trying to remember which ones I've played. Because I played the very first one, the initial one. And then, yeah, it was such a big deal when it was like Lego Star Wars, the original trilogy. People were like, fuck yeah, those are the ones I want to play. And everyone's like you were playing like, wait, what? What are you talking about, the original trilogy?
Yeah, I didn't know that 4, 5, 6 were bigger than 1, 2, 3. I'm like, this looks a little older. I don't know why people are into it.
Right. Please tell me you eventually like got wise and watched Star Wars and shit.
Oh yeah, I watched all 6 movies.
Okay, good.
I don't think the prequels are as bad as people say they are, but I might be a little biased because the Lego games made them real fun.
I will say 3's not bad. Otherwise, they're okay. Again, you know what it is though? It's the same. It's the same argument when, depending on how in the order you watch them, right? Like if you did not know they existed and just watched them from the beginning, you may not have that like bias or that opinion of like these aren't as good. Example: people who played Zelda first, then played Horizon, did not think Horizon was as good, and I'm sorry, but they're fucking wrong, because Horizon was incredible.
Horizon is a good game, but I feel like Zelda's a little better.
Oh, God, I could get into an argument with you, but I won't. It's just, okay, just to dial it back, though, like, when you play Zelda, it fucks your head up for other games. Like, all of a sudden, you can't climb everything. And it's just different. You know what I mean? There's just different shit that is in Zelda that's not in other games. So some people who played Zelda first, then went back and tried to play Horizon, couldn't. Because they were just fucked up. They were like, you can't climb everything. I'm all fucked up. And especially when they came out so close to each other, it like fucked up some
I think it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks, right? So that's why you were like, I particularly played Horizon and beat it before Zelda came out. Like I could not fucking imagine myself trying to do those 2 games at the same time. Now, that's the same thing with the other, like if you did not have that notion of like, nobody came in and told you the original trilogy is quote unquote better, which arguably a lot of people will say it is. If you just went in there not knowing that everybody thinks 1, 2, and 3 aren't that good, and you just watch them for the movies that they are, then you're going to have a different opinion. It's, it's the same way, but it's okay. We'll get in, dude, me and, I just had, Nathan Thomas, voiced by Nathan on Twitter, on the show. And dude, we went balls deep into Star Wars and how much we love that. So one day we'll get into that discussion, but no, it's, I mean, again, it's cool though that again, gaming has at least brought you into different experiences, like good movies like Star Wars. Yay. Nothing wrong with that. So you eventually though, like you said on the Wii, you only played the good games, which is good for you. Did you actually buy the Wii thinking like, oh man, I can't wait to play all these awesome games? Or did you get it thinking like, Smash and Mario are fun?
I didn't get the Wii. My little brother got the Wii, and it was like the family Wii.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, if I ever want to play a Wii game, I'll use that.
Right.
And then 2 Wii games came out that I wanted to play. Smash Bros. And I think Mario Galaxy 1. No, Pokemon Battle Revolution also came out on Wii. I played the shit out of that. Because you can connect your DS Pokemon games to it.
So enthralled. Yeah,
but other than like those 3 games, there wasn't really anything on the Wii I wanted to play, so I just never used it.
Right.
So I eventually got a Xbox 360 and did all of the Halos, Fable, Gears of War, and I got real into Xbox. And then I also got a PS3 at some point. I got the PS3 when The Last of Us came out. That's when I got a PS3.
Which, man, dude, that's a good time. It's funny because it sucks when people have that fear of missing out. Obviously, it causes a lot of people to make a lot of stupid decisions. But in my opinion, at the same time, getting a game console at the end of its life cycle is almost better in a way, because as soon as you get it, like when you buy a console on launch, you always get it and you go, cool, I can't wait to play shit on this. Then you play like games that come out and then you're waiting for the next game and waiting. And sometimes waiting a real fucking long time. When you get a game console at the end of its life cycle, you have a plethora of shit to play. And you can just knock out all the best hits right away because you got it right at the end of when everything came out. So, I mean, you got it The Last of Us, which is basically their last big hurrah before they were like, cool, here's a PS4. You know what I mean? And goddamn, what a good game to play. like you chose a good game to jump in on.
And I liked it because like the entire backlog of the PS3 was also available at that point because that was at the end of the PS3 life cycle. So I played a shit ton of JRPGs. Ni no Kuni, Tales of Exilia, Mungan Souls. I had every game. Disgaea. I played a shit ton of Disgaea on the PS3.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that's where it kind of started lacking. And it's funny because like the original Xbox had some super solid RPGs. 360 started, there was some.
It had Tales of Vesperia and Blue Dragon, which are both amazing.
Right. It also, I mean, I didn't play them, but I know Lost Odyssey. Some people like that game. It had like some of the BioWare. You know, Mass Effect was first on Xbox, so like obviously people like that. But yeah, it's just like, you know, I mean, obviously PlayStation has always been a big home for JRPGs. So if you're a fan of that, then you were balls deep in it. But I mean, for me, like I got my PS3, which I was primarily on Xbox, mostly because Xbox Live was far superior than anything PlayStation was ever doing in that console life cycle. Like,
agreed.
Xbox Live was fucking destroying them in every way. But I got it for Little Big Planet, actually, because my kids and my wife, we'd go over to my in-laws' house where he was all PlayStation and shit. And he had Little Big Planet, and it was 4-player co-op, local couch co-op. And that got me to get my PS3. Also, of course, there was like Sony exclusives that I wanted to check out, you know, because I'm one of those people, I prefer my Xbox, but I do have everything because how can I say I enjoy video games without being able to play everything, you know, like.
Yep. 100% get that.
You have to, I mean, yes, my PlayStation barely gets turned on, but when it does, I fucking love it. Example, next week. Fuck. That thing is going to get used so much.
But why would you play the new God of War when you could play Nintendo Labo? Who wants cardboard, am I right?
Fuck out of here. You gotta be kidding me, right? Dude, if Labo gets a 10 out of 10 from everybody on Earth, then I'll think about it. Sorry. Like, God of War's coming out. And again, like, seeing everybody giving it good reviews, that wasn't gonna make me buy it anymore, but I'm just happy that everybody's happy that they like it. So, yay. Makes me happier. But, I mean, my father-in-law always gives me shit because he's like, why do you even have a PS4? I'm like, well, I can't play Horizon on an Xbox. I can't play God of War on an Xbox. I can't play fucking Spider-Man, which really bums me out on an Xbox.
Dude, I'm so excited for Spider-Man.
Spider-Man looks so fucking good.
Dude, I hope they do a new console because I want to get a Pro, but I don't want to buy a Pro.
If they did a Spider-Man PS4 Pro. Dude. By the way, that God of War PS4 Pro, I do not like it. I do not like it. Like, one thing I will say up, down, left, and right, Microsoft and how they do their consoles and their special edition controllers, in my opinion, exceeds Sony in every fucking way.
100% agreed. Sony hasn't put out a good exclusive, like, special edition console ever. All their PS3 ones sucked. All their PS4 ones sucked. They haven't put a good one out.
Except for in Japan, they have some cool ones. But they never fucking see the light of day.
That's different.
Yeah. Like, dude, the fact, like, just the way Microsoft does their shit is fucking crazy. Like, honestly, and I've seen all these special edition consoles. My absolute favorite one that they did, just because it recreates the game so perfect, is the Minecraft Xbox One.
Dude, I'm heartbroken.
It's fucking
that's an
beautiful.
Xbox One S and not an X. Because
yes.
if that was an X, I would buy that immediately.
Dude, it's so beautiful. Like, it represents that game perfectly.
And it has the redstone torch at the bottom. It's so fucking good.
It's so good. And Microsoft, like, they know how to do their shit. Like,
and it comes with a creeper controller. That's
yes,
so cool.
And, dude, even when you open up the creeper controller in the back, if you open up the back battery cover, if you look inside, there's TNT. And you're like, what the fuck? How do you guys know how to do this good? Like, they just know, like, example, on the Gears of War 4 controllers, there's like claw marks from the enemies that are in the game. They laser etched out the controller where the claw marks are. So they actually feel like claw marks. And you're like, you guys get it. And Sony does a Call of Duty limited edition console and puts 3 ugly ass orange bars on a console, or they'll just make it camo because generic ass camo is definitely.
Did you see the Destiny 2 special edition where they just slapped the fucking logo on the controller?
Yeah, it's awful. Dude, the Uncharted one is just a picture of Nathan Drake, and like, I guess if that's what you want to do, cool, but you know, Microsoft knows how to fucking do limited edition consoles so well and controllers so well, hence why I've bought so many of them. And Sony, like, that PS4 Pro, when I saw it, like, I get it, it's meant to mimic his axe or whatever, I get it, it's hideous. It does not look good. And I would not want that in my console stand with all the rest of the shit.
I saw that, and I was like, this looks fucking... I like half the symbols, I don't even know what they mean. It's like, sure, I'm sure this will be something in the game, but like, who the fuck cares about any of this?
Like, if a majority of people saw that, like, if they saw that and you did not tell them what game that's from, would they be able to fucking figure it out? They'd look at that and go, I don't know what that is. If you saw a Minecraft Xbox underneath somebody's console, you're like, I know what the fuck that is. That is Minecraft all day long. Like, they do such a great job. And however, I would say it would be awesome if they did a Spider-Man PS4 Pro, but I also feel somehow they'd fuck it up. And that would bum me out even more.
That's what I'm scared of. I want the Spider-Man PS4 Pro, but I feel like they're just going to be lazy with it like they have been with every other thing.
Here's what they'll do. It'll be the bottom layer red, the middle layer blue, the top layer red, and that's it.
I mean, it's better than nothing, but like...
I like how you didn't disagree. You were like, like, because you could totally see them doing that.
Yeah.
Dude, just quit fucking up Sony. Just take the Spider-Man chest logo, put that on the top, and like wrap it in spiral. God damn it. If Microsoft had it, dude, just whoever does Microsoft's consoles, fucking call them up and go, how would you guys do this? just admit defeat, pay them, and let them design your consoles, because they do a really good job. I could have almost swore they would have done a Sea of Thieves console, but I was like, Sea of Thieves controller's pretty legit, though. Like, it's got...
That controller looks real good. It sold out when they first like announced it.
Yes.
They had to make more of those ones.
Yes, I bought it because that was the closest thing that my wife liked as far as, like, games. She likes Pirates of the Caribbean. I showed her the controller. I was like, what do you think of this controller? She's like, oh, that's cool. So that, her confirming that's cool meant here's a partial Valentine's Day gift. Also, if you didn't want it, I'd be sure to keep it because fuck yeah, the thing's cool. But when you open it up, there's like etchings for where barnacles are. And like the analog stick has north, south, east, west, like compass on it. I'm like, and the trigger on the back, one of them's like a gold for like a gold tooth. I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. And Sony will come out with like a fucking blue controller and say it's Uncharted. And you're just like, you don't get it. But it's okay. So it sounds like, though, you went 360, you played a bunch of PS3, but now are you, like you said, like we discussed, you kind of play everything now, but are you primarily PS4 now?
I switch between 360 and PS4. For most games, I will prefer it on the Xbox One because I prefer that controller. I have an Elite controller right now. I prefer the AI. I prefer achievements. Xbox Live is always better. But there are certain games that I will play on PS4, not counting exclusives, of course,
right,
but like multiplayer games because I have more friends now on PS4 because of the Kind of Funny community. Games like Overwatch, I play with a lot of my friends. I have Overwatch on both Xbox and PS4, but I main on PS4 because that's where a lot of my friends are. So like a lot of social games, I'll play on PS4 because that's where all my new friends are. It's easy to set up parties and whatnot. But like, for example, Final Fantasy 15, when that came out, that was my game of the year, 2016. I played that. I got all 1000 gamer score on Xbox because I prefer it on Xbox. It's a single player experience. I don't have to worry about connecting it with anyone else. For most games, I'll play it on Xbox. But like, if it's a social thing, I'll do it on PS4 just because it's easier to do it with all my new friends and everything.
Yeah, I mean, especially you being as involved as you are with the kind of fun community. I think if you told people, hey, I have Overwatch on Xbox, they'd look at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, they probably they might kick you out of the community. I'm just playing. I know they like Xbox. I'm just giving them shit. But no.
When I told Greg that I was primarily Xbox, he said, you should fix that. Like, for the first year I was with KF, I didn't have a PS4, and I got so much shit for that. He's like, hey, you should play this with me. I'm like, hey, I don't have a PS4. He's like, oh. Why?
You should fix that.
Yep.
That's a Greg Miller-ass response, right? You should fix that.
I bought the Destiny Taken King PS4, which is that white one with the gold icon on the front of it.
Fucking weird logos on it, yeah.
Yeah, I have that one. I personally don't like it because I'm not a fan of white consoles, but a lot of my friends tell me that it's the best custom PS4 that's out there. So
I agree.
When eventually they do a Spider-Man one and I upgrade to that, I'm going to give my white one to like one of my friends who really loves it because she loves white consoles, she loves white controllers, but right now she has like the launch black one. So I'm just going to give her the white one because it's like, hey, you like this a million times more than I ever did. I literally only bought it because I was poor and I wanted to get Destiny for free.
Right. No, that works. As far as the consoles go, I have, like everything I have is black, right? I have the black 360. I have the OG PS3, that big fat fucking one that plays all.
So that plays PS2 games?
Yeah, it plays everything. I have a regular PS4. I did some shuffling around to show how much I love Xbox. I have 4 Xbox Ones in my house, mostly because my kids. It's a long story, but anyways, I got an Xbox One S, and it was the only white console that I had. Everything else was black, and I fucking hated it. I was just like, my console's black. Everything else around it's black. My modem, my router, everything is black around it, and there's just this sore-ass white Xbox One S that was out, and I was just like, I mean, I got
when
it.
Xbox One S was first like announced and released, they only had the white ones.
Yeah.
And that's why I hated the S.
Yes, and I was really bummed. And I mean, there was like some special editions that came out, but they were just like different colors. Like the closest one is and believe me, I fucking looked. The closest one they had was like a Battlefield 1 version that was like gray.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It was like gray, but it wasn't black. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, why can't you guys just make a black one? And then when the Xbox One X got announced and they were like, hey, it's black, I was like, thank you, God. I ended up getting the Project Scorpio one, not realizing it's somewhat grayish depending on the color you look at it. Like if you angle it a certain way, it actually looks gray, but it's like a gradient. So like if you look at it in a certain way, it looks black. Otherwise it looks gray. I'm happy as fuck with it. Like it's not white, but you know, what's funny is I'm fine with white controllers, just not consoles. Like yeah, dude, white consoles, man, can't do it. But some people like them. Like you said, your friend likes it and she preferred that one. And I will say, I think out of all the special edition ones, even though like the gold is weird or whatever, I think that Destiny one was actually probably the better one they did.
Yeah, probably. I can't think of anything that's better.
Well, again, look what you're fucking comparing it to. When they did the Black Ops 3 one, and I saw
oh my God.
logo, I fucking laughed so hard. I literally, you know those LOL moments? I literally fucking laughed so hard, and I sent it immediately to all my friends. I'm like, can you fucking believe how lazy Sony is? They literally just took 3 orange bars, slapped it on the side, and went, here you go, people. Shit.
I remember
terrible.
looking at that and thinking it was like some high school project, and my friend had to tell me like, no, this is real. You can pre-order this. I'm like, bullshit.
No,
not
you
even
won't.
Sony's that fucked up. And I was wrong.
It was, yeah. I mean, again, like it's just funny that, and I mean, some of their, like, again, I'm not a big, I don't doubt, like, I don't diss the, like, I do prefer the Xbox controller overall. But I mean, like some of the color controller schemes that they have for some of their, not like special edition game themed controllers, but just some of their color choices they have for some of their controllers are cool as shit. And I'm like, oh, that's a cool color. But just the consoles, man, if you want a special edition console, you have to make that bitch look so good that I would want to keep it next to other non-special edition consoles. Like, you have to make that shit stand out and make it look so nice. The one thing that's funny is I'm a huge Gears of War fan, and when that S came out, the red one with the claw marks on the system. I was like, fuck, I want that thing so bad. And then the cool thing that Microsoft does that Sony has not done yet is the custom sounds when you turn on and off the system.
Oh my God, I love that.
Which is so fucking awesome, right? What's funny is they ruined the Gears of War console because of that for me. I was going to buy it.
Sound?
It's so the on off is the noise of like the orchestral like on and off and shit, which is cool, right? Whatever. When you hit the eject button on that Gears console, it makes the noise of like one of the enemies in the game, and it's the worst fucking noise you've ever heard in your entire life. It sounds like your system's breaking. It's like ah, and you're like, I do not want to hear that every time I hit the eject button. I swear to God, I was watching an unboxing video and I was so pumped. I'm like, fuck yeah, Gears 4, I'm going to get that. And then they played that noise and I was like, canceled my pre-order immediately. I was like, I am not hearing that shit every time I do that. So yeah, that kind of actually ruined it for me. But, yeah, dude, like for example, the Star Wars Xbox 360 they did. Well,
I like that one. My favorite one, which is the one I got, was the Halo 4 360.
Yes.
They came with 2 of those controllers. The lighter blue.
Such a nice system.
That was the best 360. Oh my God, I love that thing.
I didn't get the console, but my wife did get me the Halo 4 controller, and it's still my favorite 360 controller that they ever came out with.
That's another thing I love about Xbox and Microsoft. When they do special consoles with special controllers, they will sell you the controller separately, so you don't have to buy the entire console to get that controller.
Except for the Star Wars one. They fucking knew. They were like, they
didn't the R2-D2 one?
Well, yeah, because it was the R2-D2 console, but then they had the C-3PO controller.
Oh, shit, you're right. I mixed it up, yeah.
No,
you're
yeah,
right.
But like, dude, do you have any idea how much money I would have paid them just for the C-3PO controller? And that was the only one they didn't fucking do. And I'm like, you guys. However, they're smart as hell though, because some of the games, like for example, the Halo 5 one, if you bought the Halo 5 Xbox One, it came with the lock controller, which was the same color as the console, but then they sold the secondary Master Chief one that was a different color scheme.
Yep, I remember that, yeah.
Same thing with Gears. Same thing, Minecraft. Like they have the creeper controller, then they have a pig controller. So they're smart as hell about that, because they're like, hey, here's a console, here's the cool controller, but we also sell this other controller that's the same game, same thing, but it's a different color. So they know what's up. And I don't really know what console they could do this year, but I'm sure they'll announce something at E3 and we'll figure it out. So, dude, yeah, you got my hopes up for a Spider-Man PS4 Pro, but then I just keep thinking Sony fucks this up every time.
Like, the bar is so low. All they had to do was be decent. That's all they have to do.
Average at best, and we'll be happy, right? Because the bar is such shit. We just got to be hope. Dude, if there's just the spider logo on a PS4, I don't care if it's a different color, we'd all be happy. But
like, honestly, if the PS4 Pro was just like this bright crimson red, and it was just that, I would take that, because that's nicer.
Right?
And just like the standard black one?
Yeah. I mean, if it's like a shiny, like again, just, yeah, shiny red, maybe some hints of blue.
Or like a metallic red?
Yeah, like a metallic red, that'd be cool. But like some of them, man, like that Batman one wasn't good either. Like,
yeah.
Again, you forget how bad some of these are, but then like you look at some of the Xbox ones and you're like, I'm sorry, that Minecraft one is so fucking good. I remember seeing it and just being so jealous. I was like, I cannot convince my wife I need another Xbox. Like, I cannot do that. Because my son, as soon as he saw it, he freaked out. He's like, Dad, I need that. I'm like, cool, I need $400 from you in order to get that. It's like, yeah, if you want to save your money, go right ahead. But, yeah, I mean, again, with the X, they haven't, I mean, the only special edition with the X they did was the Scorpio one, which, again, it's not really special. It's just like day one edition, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not super fancy or special, but, yeah, I mean, let's do some special edition X consoles, and I'm sure you'll sell people on those. So
I think they're going to do a Metro one, because Metro comes out this year, and that was big at the Xbox E3 conference last year.
They probably will have marketing on that. The only other one I was thinking of, which hasn't been confirmed, but I'm almost certain it's going to happen, especially after the latest news, is a Splinter Cell one.
Maybe, or Crackdown.
Or Crackdown. I mean, the thing that sucks is I love people who have played Crackdown love Crackdown. If you haven't played Crackdown, you don't know what the fuck it is, and like that's the only thing that sucks. Like, Crackdown 1 is so fun. Let's not talk about 2, but Crackdown 1 is so good.
Isn't that backwards compatible now?
Yeah, it is. And they Xbox One X enhanced it, which, by the way, fuck remasters. You want to do some cool shit? Xbox One X enhanced Red Dead Redemption.
I want it.
Go look at screenshots and you'll fucking freak out because you do not realize how they don't have to do a remaster. They literally put out a 500 meg patch for free and it made the game look fucking incredible. It's so good. And Microsoft's just like, here's a free patch. Go play Red Dead again now because you'll realize how good this looks. They did Portal 2 in 4K. What?
Seriously?
Yeah, Portal 2 got Xbox One X enhanced.
I didn't realize it was backwards compatible. Now I have to play Portal too.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. They keep dude, just recently they announced for backward compatible for original Xbox.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Dude, Xbox is like a Star Wars machine now. It's like you want to go play Knights 1, Knights 2, freaking Republic Commando, all those Star Wars, Battlefront 1, the good Battlefront
Jedi Academy. I've always wanted to play that one.
And then the 360 games. Force Unleashed got Xbox One X enhanced. And I'm just like, holy shit, man.
I got all the achievements in that game.
Dude, yeah, real quick, Force Unleashed 1, awesome. I was so down for that. The second one, more of the same. It's okay.
I never finished that one.
It was, I mean, again, I was like, this gameplay's fun. And, story, I was just intrigued with the story of the first one. Like, oh, this is an apprentice for Darth Vader. I'm like, yes, let's fucking figure that out. That's cool. So, and again, I mean, at least now, if you have the option of playing on Xbox, you can do that. But, dude, the way that Microsoft's been doing their backward compatibility is fucking good on you because you didn't have to do that shit. But when you start getting your teeth kicked in, you sure had to do something, and they're doing something now. It's fine with me. And it sucks because I don't know if Microsoft would have been as awesome as they are now if they weren't losing so bad to Sony, which I know Microsoft doesn't give a shit, but I really don't care because I have them all, and everybody start making good shit.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do for E3 because, I think it was maybe 2 months ago, feels like, hey, we know we don't have a lot of Xbox games coming out this year. E3, we're going to fix that. It's like, I want to see if Phil keeps his word.
I think he will. I think I'm going to be doing, you've been on Sean's show, Sean Capri's show, We the Gamer Cast.
Yeah.
I was on his last year Xbox prediction show, and I'm going to be on this year again.
Nice.
And because I'm such a fucking Xbox nerd. And
Bleak's the time cap. Bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, that's backward compatible, by the way. Not bullshitting you. It just got announced backward compatible. Original Xbox.
Oh my god, yes.
There you go. Go have fun, Marty Sleva. But no, with, one of my predictions is I swear to God, Halo 6 is going to come out this year. And everybody thinks I'm fucking crazy, but
I think they're going to announce it. I don't know if they will release it this year.
Phil said he is tired of announcing shit too early, which I applaud because every time a game gets announced early, it gets let down by, look at Crackdown. The fuck? They announced Crackdown 4 years ago, and it's going to come out this year.
Holy fuck, has it really been 4 years?
2014.
Oh shit, fam.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? He said that he's tired of announcing games too early to not have them come out. And I appreciate how, games people like Bethesda's hey, here's Fallout 4, and you assholes will play it in 6 months. Have a good day. Watch Dogs 2 got announced at E3 and got put out that fall. People are tired of you putting out a game and saying it's going to come out in 3 years. Nobody wants to do that shit. So,
RIP Scalebound.
Scalebound. There's other games that are just going to... The problem is you cannot... Look at Days Gone. That game got announced, I think, last year or the year before, and now, it's not going to come out this year. So, when is that going to come out? You just...
What the fuck is Days Gone?
The Sony exclusive, the fucking...
Oh shit! I forgot that game exists! Yeah, you're right!
You're welcome. And that's exactly the point. You don't fucking talk about games until you're ready to show them and release them. So I think the reason why... So obviously Microsoft has a problem with first-party studios and single-player exclusives, and I get that, right? Right now, all this cool shit's coming out for Sony because they've had years to put it together. I get it. But also, I think Phil is tired of fucking talking about games if they're not ready. And Halo came out 3 years ago. Every other Halo game has been a 3-year life cycle. Period.
Not counting spinoffs like Wars and stuff.
Yeah, not counting Wars, not counting, ODST or whatever. Like, every Halo game has been a 3-year life cycle. It's been 3 years since Halo 5. There's no fucking reason they announce it and they have it out this year. I really think it's possible. And I just think that, like I said, he's just tired of announcing shit 2 years in advance. So he will, they're going to announce shit at E3 that obviously is not going to come out this year, right? They hype it for that 1 year.
Or 5.
Right, exactly. Like, they'll say, well, yeah, it's happening, but they'll announce it officially as a title. But, like, I just think he's tired of saying games are going to come out and then they get delayed or canceled. Like, and it makes sense. You're just hyping people up to be pissed off. So, no, like, I'm almost positive he's going to say Halo 6 is going to happen and it's going to come out this fall. And everybody's going to shut their fucking mouths because they're going to say, oh, Halo, Sony or Microsoft doesn't have games. Oh. They have games. They're working on them. Obviously, though, certain games are definitely going to come out next year and the year after. But don't talk about games if you don't have them ready to show, play or have a firm release date. I am so happy with how Ubisoft has been doing shit lately with Watch Dogs 2, Assassin's Creed Origins. Bethesda is doing so fucking good with it. Like, here's a game. It'll come out in 6 months, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Like, thank you. Do that shit. Don't talk about games for 2 or 3 years.
And then also here's Skyrim again.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Skyrim, 4K, VR, 3D, like, whatever. But again, we keep running our mouths and we keep saying how it's funny how they keep releasing Skyrim, yet everyone fucking buys it over and over. So it's okay. They'll just do they'll announce a new Elder Scrolls probably. They'll probably have some, like, Fallout New Vegas remaster or something. They'll do whatever. We'll figure it out. But that's it. It's going to have another conference this year, which, again, we go, how the fuck are you going to do that? You guys don't have enough. We said that last year, and then they came out with a press conference, and it was full of shit. And you're like, all right, never mind. We'll just shut up and just hear what you guys have to say. So it's okay. E3's close and fun. Have you ever had a chance to go to E3?
No, I almost went last year, but I decided not to because I couldn't get the time off because at that time it was KFL 3, and then I had just gotten back from PAX. This year, I'm considering it because I went to PAX last week, and I was hanging out with the What's Good Game Girls, and they were telling me that I should go to E3 this year. I'm like, I want to, but it's 2 weeks right before prom. It's a lot of money. They're like, if you can make it work, you should definitely go because it'll be worth it this year. I'm like, all right, I'll consider it.
Right. And yeah, like, that's the other thing too, is you've been super big in the Kind of Funny community. Obviously, there's a video of you playing Greg Miller in Mario Kart, which is probably the bane of your existence, but
it was a lot of fun though.
Dude, I literally was losing my mind watching that video, and that gif of not the gif, but like the 2-minute Twitch clip of just that fucking chaos at the end. You're like, oh my God.
I was so close. I screwed myself at the end though.
Yeah, I was just, it's so ridiculous. But again, you're one of those people that will live on in Kind of Funny fame because of that shit. And yeah, I mean, especially with you though, like, you're going to Kind of Funny prom, which will be a ton of fun, but also too, I mean, you should just play Greg Miller for a ticket to E3. Just have him get you a press pass for Kind of Funny. That's what you should do. You get access to that cool shit.
I don't like asking Greg for favors like that.
No, I know. I'm just
like, I know I can, and Greg, like, he always tells me that if I ever need anything, just let him know. But I always just feel weird asking him for favors.
No, yeah, it's like if a celebrity gives you their phone number, you don't want to fucking call them. You don't want to call them to prove that you could talk to them. Like, you're like, I don't want to fucking mess this up. I just want to know that it's just nice to know that he's cool to help you out if you need help, but you never want to use it.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. And again, you're on a first name basis with Greg Miller. That's cool.
Well, if you ever talk to Greg, you'll be on a first name basis real quick, because Greg is one of those guys where he doesn't care who you are, where you're from. If you want to talk to him, he'll talk to you, and he'll be your best friend.
That's so awesome. Like, and that's one thing that bums me out is, like, obviously I live here in Phoenix. There was, what bums me out too is apparently I'm not on Twitter enough because there was a Kind of Funny meetup at a Portillo's here, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, Trevor arranged that.
Yeah, and I was like, I apparently caught it too late, and I was like, motherfucker, I would have been cool to go to that. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't get to travel much. Obviously, I have a family and a wife and 3 kids here that, me disappearing for a week probably wouldn't have been too fun for my wife. But I mean, those are things that like I wish I had a more like, dude, if I knew people here that were into Kind of Funny as much as other places, like obviously they're not going to come here because they don't have shit here for conventions. But I mean, it's just like, man, I'd love to go to one of those conventions one day, and hopefully one day I will. And
well, right now, I think it's baseball stadiums or something. It's some sports ball thing, but one of those stadiums now serves Portillo's, and Greg wants to get one of those. Like in the stadium, there's this pool area, and you can rent it out. It costs a couple $1,000s. Greg wants to rent out this area and invite a bunch of Kind of Funny best friends. Obviously, everyone will have to pay a certain amount to get the ticket to go to the pool area that they reserve and everything. But he wants to set up a meetup over there because that stadium now serves Portillo's.
Dude, I'm about to lose my shit if you're talking about because the Diamondback Stadium out here, the baseball stadium has a pool there.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. They recently, like I think a month ago, announced that they now serve Portillo's there.
Dude, get the fuck out of here. I'm Googling this as you're speaking to me. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Trevor tweeted about it to Greg and Ryan McCaffrey, and they both want to go watch a baseball game, I assume, since it's the baseball stadium, rent out the pool area, invite best friends over, and have Portillo's.
Dude, I'm fucking down. Dude, you just made my night. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, I don't know if it will ever happen, but Greg wants to do it at some point.
Dude, that'd be awesome. And, of course, yeah, Ryan McCaffrey, he's a Diamondbacks fan, so, of course, he's down. Like, and I don't give a fuck about baseball, but I'll be so down to go.
I also don't care about a lot of sports.
I just don't go.
I like
baseball.
watching it, but like, I don't know it.
Whatever, baseball. Who gives a shit? If I get to go hang out with some best friends, that'd be awesome. So now I'll just start bothering Greg on Twitter. Be like, hey, what's up with that Diamondbacks? I'll just start tagging them daily. I'll just bother them. I won't bother them though. That would be kind of mean, but. No, I mean, I didn't even know that was the thing that they were discussing. But yeah, I just Google searched it, and they literally added Portillo's to Chase Field. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I think about a month ago. Might be a little longer, but yeah.
That's awesome. I just saw it was a news article from April 4th. So, or no, March 15th, 2018. We are adding Portillo's and Dutch Brothers. Who gives a shit about coffee? Portillo's, that's good stuff.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, dude, if people wanted to check you out on Twitter, because you're all over there, or Xbox or PlayStation or any of those, where would they check you out at?
My username is Xyger1337. That's XYGER1337. I use the same name on every platform: Twitter, Instagram, PSN, Xbox, Switch. Anything you want, that's my username.
It's pretty awesome.
So it's easy to find.
Yeah, exactly. Good branding. Makes it easy for everybody. Instead of... Dude, if somebody got that on a different platform, they're an asshole. Like, they're just trying to mess with you specifically. If somebody got that same...
Yeah.
They're just being a dick for no reason. But that's awesome. He got all those platforms and everything. So if anybody wants to check him out, go there. Go on Twitter. He does a lot of cool stuff there. Dude, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for having a chat with me and sharing all your stories. I appreciate it.
It was fun. Whenever you want me back on, just let me know. I'll make it work.
All right, thanks.
I'll try not to reschedule 3 times.
Yeah, me too. We'll try not to reschedule this like we have been 100 times so far. All right, and again, thank you, Xyger, for being on the show. Yeah, me and him, for whatever reason, I had to reschedule, then he did, then I did, then he did, and finally got a chance to chat with that guy, so what a nice person, right? If you want to follow him on anything, basically PlayStation, Xbox, Twitter, all of the above, you can check him out on Xyger, which is XYGER1337. So feel free to follow him. Of course, if you follow Kind of Funny and all of their stuff, you know who he is. And if not, feel free to check him out. He's a really cool guy. Obviously, he likes Pokemon, and he also likes the limited edition Xbox consoles, just like I do. So how could you not love the guy, right? If you guys want to be on the show just like he was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. Again, thank you guys so much for returning. Hopefully you've subscribed on iTunes or Google Play. Also, check out the YouTube channel. Just search up GUG Podcast on YouTube. You'll find it there, as well as the Facebook group, Growing Up Gaming Podcast. You can just search that in Facebook and you'll find it there as well. I appreciate all your guys' support across all of the channels. Again, thank you guys so much for returning each and every week to the show, and I will catch you guys next week. See ya.